BET ain't doing shit by our ass. We ain't making no motherfucking money together.
In January of 2004, BET's College Hill became the first black reality TV show ever in banking on an unprofessional journey in television. The Edmonds Entertainment produced docuseries amplified the experience of black students at historically black colleges and universities across the country. The show was patterned from previous TV hits like MTV's reality show The Real World and A Different World. This particular unscripted phenomenon granted access to what thousands of black students were going through while attending HBCUs. The first campus that the College Hill producers invaded was Southern University. Now, basically, Edmonds says that Southern University was picked because it's just a great all-around HBCU, one of the more poppin' HBCUs, and they didn't have a lot of money to work with, and the school was willing to let them film around campus versus later seasons when the producers had enough money to actually buy mansions and have all the kids move into these mansions. So for 8 weeks on the campus of Southern University, BET and the producers followed 8 students around, capturing real-life moments of them going in and out of class while dealing with social problems and collegiate problems and just trying to find their way through life. Now, I vaguely remember this season, but if you go searching for this season, you're not going to find much. The same thing goes with season 2, Langston University in Oklahoma. I did uncover that BET's choice to bring season 2 to Oklahoma is because it was Oklahoma. And as we all know, there is not many black people in Oklahoma. But the fact that there was an HBCU planted right in the middle of Oklahoma called the Wild Wild West, that was something that BET wanted to sink their teeth into. Now, while there is no footage of season 2 either, there was a recorded fight between roommates John and Peaches, which caused Peaches to be sent home. BET had rented out ranch-style housing for the students on season 2, and they were now working with a $900,000 budget. However, season 2 was scraped too. It's not ever been released on DVD, and we will probably never see episodes of season 2 either. So let's jump into when all the drama starts and really why College Hill will never be back on cable network television. Okay. So season 3 opened the floodgates of popularity when they decided to travel down to Virginia State University. Woo, let's get into this season. So BET taking College Hill to Virginia State was absolutely a genius move. So in the same house, they had a Q-Dog, they had a Sigma, they had a Virginia State woo-woo cheerleader, they had a naive freshman, they had a basketball player, they had a football player, they had a model, they had a mascot who was actually openly gay on the show as well. This was just genius because we got to see college being lived through the popular kids, the kids that are new to life, the kids that are going through their struggles with being gay and not wanting to be open about it because it might overshadow who they are as a person. It was just a genius idea, and the cast was absolutely amazing. So the cast didn't waste any time jumping straight into what college kids like to do, which is drink, party, have fun, turn up with the frat. Homecoming episode was absolutely crazy. Everybody was running around naked, shirts off. Bianca was being the naive freshman that producers knew she was going to be. Deidre and Anya often butted heads because they were two alpha females. Then we had Audrina that was in a relationship with a dude who didn't mean her any good, and they argued the entire season. Reality TV gold. So we had a couple people to bump heads, but in the end, Rodney and Deidre actually ended up hooking up, and that's what the producers have been trying to get since the first damn day that it was filming. So on the last day, they decided, what the heck, let's hook up.
I got in bed and we all started talking.
So season 3 of College Hill at Virginia State University had the highest ratings of any other season of College Hill. Literally blew season 1 and season 2 straight out of the water. However, BET hadn't seen nothing yet because the 4th season would be the highest rated season. Now, the 4th season is, of course, Virgin Islands. This is when BET took 4 college kids from California, okay, and traveled them halfway across the world to the Virginia Islands where they studied for a semester at VI. Now, y'all, this season was a hit with 1.7 million viewers tuning in the first night. Now, the first night we got to see that everybody was all excited and blase, but as the season went on, total culture shock just started to sit in for the Cali kids, and it was clearly a division as time went on, and people started beefing, and it was quickly seen as the VI versus the Cali kids within the house, because it would seem like the California kids were just always complaining about how California has so much more than the Virgin Islands. And of course, you're going to take offense to that if you were born and raised here and you decided to go to school on the island. So, y'all, this season was a hot ass mess. Now, even though the first couple of episodes of this season were good, the drama started to trickle in slowly. Now, at the beginning, nobody liked Crystal. They didn't like her bratty attitude. They didn't like that she was always noisy and hyper energetic. They just didn't like her at all. They thought she was a spoiled girl who never had to want for anything, so she quickly became an outcast. So the house had a couple vibes. First, it started out with everybody being against Crystal, and then it sort of switched to the Cali versus the VI kids, and this is the tone that it had for the rest of the time there. The one thing that everybody remembers from this season, and it still gets brought up, but I'm not going to put it in this video because I don't want to get my channel deleted, is the notorious fight between Crystal and Vanessa, where Crystal simultaneously hit Vanessa in the head over and over again with the shoe and caused her to have to get like 2 or 3 stitches the next day. Really violent fight. So this season had a whole bunch of fights, okay? It's just fight. Even though Vanessa and Crystal were the only one that was actually a physical fight. Now, after everything aired, this is where the criticism started, and this is where College Hill had to make a rebranding and sort of a change, and that is why season 4 is probably going to be the best season ever compared to the other seasons. Now, according to diverseeducation.com, the reality series College Hill caused an uproar at its previous locations, but the Black entertainment television show provoked its greatest controversy to date at its most recent setting, the University of the Virgin Islands. Alumni and parents sent emails and called the university. Radio shows aired discontent over the way the students portrayed themselves. Members of the university's board of trustees expressed their outrage over the cast members' behavior and distanced themselves from the decision to allow the show to be filmed at UVI. They advised President Lorraine to apologize to both the university and the Virgin Island communities, which she did in a full-page advertisement in the Virgin Islands Daily News. However, the show brought in its highest numbers of viewers, and Ragnar also wrote a newspaper column saying some good came out of the experience. There's no denying that College Hill Season 4 to some extent speaks the truth, Ragnar wrote. The drinking, the sex, the various anger management issues, all this and more are common among today's college students. And we at UVI believe a mirror function is at work as our UVI students see their classmates behaving badly. It's all to the good when they experience a way to see themselves and make some positive changes as a result. The show also provides an opportunity to see how the institution assists students to face and surmount personal development changes. And this would be when Vanessa went to go see an anger management counselor on campus. So this is the little piece that the president is talking about right here about the campus being able to pretty much uplift the students. At a March 17th meeting of the trustees, members said that they had been notified of the decision to film the show at the university only after Ragstar had signed the contract, so they didn't have any say in what they wanted filmed. I was absolutely horrified by the program, board member Wesley Williams Jr. told the Daily News. A public university has a role to educate the public as much as its students and not highlight modern society's base instincts, he was quoted saying. In addition to full-page advertisements, Raxter has taken steps to prevent other universities from being presented as UVI has been. In conjunction with presidents from previous universities where College Hill was set, Dr. Joyanne of Langston University and Eddie N. Moore of Virginia State University is seeking a meeting with Viacom exclusives. Now, this is what got them to discuss how African Americans are portrayed in the media. Viacom owns BET. There needs to be some kind of balanced approach in their programming to include positives along with the negatives. Right now, they only seem to be interested in the bottom line: drinking, smoking, which I didn't see anybody smoke, and sex. Now, like I told you, Langston University was the college that they chose, I think, in season 2. And the president was very, very turned off by what he saw on his television. He said BET represents the merchandising and exploitation of stereotypical and oftentimes destructive behavior of Black people for the benefit of profit. In the first 2 seasons of Langston, there was displays of nudity and profanity and sexual overtones. Cast members drank until becoming sick and dared each other to become nude and perform sexual acts. Now, they did do this in the other seasons, but it was very much toned down. Like I said, those first seasons of College Hill, we will never see, okay? Black people, African Americans, they're gonna protect what's theirs because we don't get a lot. Minorities don't get a lot, and an HBCU is very sacred to a lot of people's hearts, especially alumni. If we're portrayed in the media for acting a fool as is, why go onto the campus of a historically Black university? Kids that are trying to get their education and then kind of exploit them and make them seem the same way. So I understand exactly what these older people are talking about when they voice so much concern about College Hill. Now, the good thing about this is admission inquiries quadrupled at the University of Virgin Islands, and they were struggling to stay open, but Virginia State University's applications dropped significantly. So it was positive for some, negative for some. So in closing, the last thing I'm going to say about College Hill, Virginia Islands is that Willie Mack did a very interesting interview with the Shade Room the other day when he says that they just went there to basically party. Him and JT were having threesomes and sleeping with all these girls and getting death threats because of it, and BET couldn't show it. And even if they could, they wouldn't show it. They used to cut class to go search the island for girls, and how they were not enrolled in college until BET actually auditioned them. I thought they were in college and they transferred, but JT said he had never been to a HBCU and he only did one semester. And that was at Virgin Islands, and I thought that was crazy. And then they started talking about the classes they had, and they had stuff like scuba diving and tree climbing and stuff like that. He said they didn't have any real classes, like they enrolled in bullshit classes and they wouldn't be there 80% of the time because they had to film some BS storyline that was going on in the house. So I just thought that was interesting that that was basically a leisure semester for them in the Virgin Islands. But anyway, let's head to Atlanta. Now, Atlanta is the next season where College Hill decided to go, and because of all of the backlash that they have gotten from the UVI and the Virginia State and Langston and Southern University, they decided that they would not go after a specific school because they were just tired of all the extreme backlash. So they put a whole bunch of kids from Atlanta in the house from different areas and different parts and different schools. Now, like I said, I don't know what BET was thinking when they did this cast, because the viewers came into this season like, yo, this is going to be the lit season, the most lit season yet. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, the mecca of Black people, the mecca of HBCUs. But once again, BET seemed to drop the ball on knowing what to do with this season. So they put all these people in the house with hopes that everybody would just hook up with one another. They had the roommates meet up at Hyde Park, and no shots of any campus at all were in any scenes this entire season. The mecca of HBCU land, you're not even going to put one picture of an HBCU into the season. And I get it. They've been catching a whole lot of hell. It's been a whole lot of liabilities with listing these schools. So they went out and they found these people, even people who were taking online classes, and just put them in a house and honestly just hope they would hook up with each other is what I got from College Hill, Atlanta. But unfortunately for BET, none of the girls were feeling the boys in the house. They thought the boys was immature. They was always somewhere off to the side scheming and whispering to themselves. The ladies was not feeling these boys at all. So it backfired on BET. Even in the first episode when they moved in, BET put massage oils and whipped cream and all kind of weird shit on their bed. But the girls was not going for that.
This was, trust and, you being able to be in a house with other guys and not feel temptation to do this and that and, all this, that. Tempted to do what with who? These dudes, that's why I don't talk to no college dudes, because college dudes is so immature. They act like they ain't got no damn home training, and they act like they ain't been around females. That's why I ask, you must not be getting none, because why you acting so freaking
immature?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is wrong with you?
I'm not feeling the guys a tad bit at all. I think they act like little girls. I think they whisper too much.
They keep their distance like this. This the line. They stay over here, because they already know if you get too close to that line, this is what's gonna happen to your ass. And you gonna look stupid. You gonna look stupid.
Get shook the hell up. I got something that'll wake you up.
So to wrap up this season of College Hill, it really wasn't what anybody expected. I mean, yeah, they got to travel abroad and go to London and stuff, but like I said, it didn't show the richness of Atlanta or any HBCU. So I was just like, whatever. So moving on to South Beach. So if you guys want me to do a separate video about where the cast of College Hill is now, I will do so, because the cast of Atlanta has some shit with them afterwards, okay? But anyway, moving on to South Beach. So BET kept the same theme of getting kids from all over instead of just one area of Florida. So they had kids from Tallahassee State. They had kids from HBCUs and schools I've never heard of, and people taking online classes. Once again, people at 2-year schools. They just had like a whole mixture of kids. And the reason that they did this is because, like I previously stated, the liabilities at the universities listed previously is something that they did not want to follow them. However, the writing on the wall was there that this was going to be the last season of College Hill. I mean, everything was just minimized to its simplest form as far as college. When you can go to a 2-year school and take online credits and get on a TV show, then come on now, everything is simplified. So honestly, the writing on the wall was there for BET, but however, South Beach was probably my favorite season, okay? First of all, we have the arguing with Brandon and Chris. BET decided to put two pretty boys in the house together, and they couldn't stand each other. They got on the boat that day acting like they knew each other, like, hey, what's up? My boy Brandon on the bus, my boy Chris on the bus, and they could not stand each other because they were vying for the attention of the prettiest girl in the house. Let's be honest. So in my opinion, South Beach is the only other season that could even stand close to coming to College Hill, Virgin Islands, because they had like 2 fights, like a legendary argument over ribs, okay, a mush in the face. They had a whole lot. So Terry got sent home episode 3 for fighting Milan over her being in the shower with some dude, and then I think Chris got sent home for fighting Brandon, but before that, they had an opportunity to pick from taking a trip or helping out a family in need. And of course, you don't want to look like no asshole. You're going to help out a family in need. So they gave a family a nice apartment. It was fully furnished. BET really did their job with this last season. Maybe they were hoping that they could go another season if they put some good in the show, but it was just too negative. When you have to send 2 people home in one season, it was just too fucking negative. BET caught backlash for Ribgate. Now, if y'all don't know what Ribgate was, this dude Kyle, okay, he humiliated, got all up in this girl's face, cursed her for everything she was worth over some half-eaten ribs that he had left in the microwave the day before, okay? I mean, I had never seen such violence on TV as far as male and female. I don't care if you gay, I don't care. He did not care. That argument was legendary, and I really ain't got time to go through all of it. If y'all know, y'all know. If y'all seen it, y'all seen it. But this video is getting way too long, but I'm going to wrap it up. But I'm just going to say, the reason that College Hill is never going to come back is because of the liabilities with all of these schools. And if you take out all of that, then they have nothing else. Like these last 2 seasons when they left VI, you didn't get a mention of a school. You didn't get a screenshot of a school. You didn't get a snapshot of a school. You didn't get anything. So what's the purpose? What's the purpose if you're not going to highlight the illustrious HBCUs that we have so much pride in, okay? What's the purpose? And then years later, BET tried to take a swing at HBCU life again with a show called The Quad and got it all wrong again, okay? So the Quad was a scripted show. A lot of people liked it, but I didn't. Because here's the thing. I went to an HBCU, and this is not how we act. This is not how we talked. This is not how we interact with each other. We did not walk around being all grammar correct. I don't even know how to address it. If you went to a HBCU, you know. And the fake frats and the fake sororities, I cannot stand it. They be having some of the craziest names like Alpha or Moroccan Kappa Lu. And I be like, okay, so you want me to get into this TV show with this fake ass name? And I understand for legal reasons you have to do that. But the show was just, I didn't like the show. It was terrible. Everybody had a white actor's voice. And I was just like, you can't make a show about an HBCU that's scripted and use white actor voices. Did anybody watch Different World growing up? So this is what we had to go off of. This was the blueprint. And you guys still couldn't get it right. And this show came out years ago, decades ago. And y'all still couldn't get it right. So all in all, I don't want College Hill to come back, at least not to BET, because they have never known how to represent an HBCU the way it should be. Okay? Just reality TV show and HBCUs don't work. That is why Sorority Sisters didn't work on VH1, even though they were not on the HBCU campus. They were talking about the Defined Nine, and people protect that shit to the fullest. But now I'm just going to ramble because I went to an HBCU and I can do this all day long and I don't want to ramble. So what y'all think?